Everything that exists in your life right now was once a vibration, a movement within consciousness before it ever took shape in words or form. Long before the world was spoken into being, it was felt into being. The beginning of all creation is not speech but vibration, the living rhythm of awareness that pulses beneath every thought. When a person begins to understand this, they stop looking for power in the outer and start discovering it within. The invisible field of vibration is the womb of all things, and your awareness is the divine center from which it all flows. Words belong to the realm of effect, but vibration belongs to the realm of cause. To understand this truth is to know that every event, circumstance, and experience is simply the shadow cast by an inner state. You may speak endlessly about what you want, but unless your vibration aligns with that desire, the universe remains unmoved. The world is not responding to the sound of your voice. It is responding to the feeling you hold when you are alone with yourself. In the silence of imagination, every word that passes your lips carries the vibration from which it was born. If the vibration is weak, the word is powerless. But when the vibration is alive, the smallest whisper can reshape mountains of resistance. This is why two people can speak the same affirmation, yet only one sees results. The difference is not in the phrase but in the frequency behind it. One repeats empty syllables. The other speaks from a living conviction that vibrates through every cell. It is this unseen energy that creates the bridge between the invisible and the visible. When the inner vibration is right, even silence becomes creative. You can say nothing and still communicate with the infinite. The divine does not hear language. It hears alignment. It listens to the tone of your being, not the volume of your words. And when that tone matches the state you wish to experience, reality bends itself to that harmony. The moment you assume the vibration of what you desire, you have already spoken the creative word. Nothing else needs to be said. This is why stillness is often more powerful than speech. When you sit quietly and feel the reality of your wish fulfilled, you are using the language of vibration. You are speaking to the universe in its own tongue. In that sacred silence, you release the need to convince or beg or explain. You enter the creative field as a co-creator, not a servant. You move from asking to being. And that shift in being is the vibration that summons all things to itself. Vibration is not something you do. It is something you allow. It is the natural state of consciousness when you stop struggling against what is, and begin to rest in what you choose to believe. Every emotion, every sensation, every subtle feeling within you is a vibration that sends its pattern into the field of reality. When you dwell in fear, that vibration multiplies itself in your outer world. When you dwell in peace, peace begins to shape your path without effort. You can test this truth easily. Spend a day speaking words of joy while secretly feeling anxious, and watch how little changes. Then spend a day saying nothing at all, but holding within yourself a deep sense of calm certainty, and observe how the world responds. People will treat you differently. Opportunities will unfold with ease, and situations that once seemed heavy will begin to lighten. It is not magic, it is law. You are broadcasting constantly, and the signal you send is not your vocabulary, but your vibration. Understanding this frees you from the struggle of constant verbal affirmations. Words have their place, but they must be carriers of feeling, not substitutes for it. The moment you rely only on speech without emotion, you divide yourself. The mind may chant one thing, but the heart vibrates another. Creation happens only when the two are one. The vibration of your heart must agree with the declaration of your mind. When thought and feeling unite, they give birth to form. Feeling is the bridge between vibration and manifestation. It is the living evidence of the unseen made real within you. You can speak prosperity 1,000 times, but if your vibration is poverty, your words are hollow. The universe does not misunderstand you. It simply mirrors you. Whatever you are vibrating, you are creating. This is why many prayers go unanswered, not because a higher power ignores them, but because the vibration behind the prayer contradicts the words being spoken. To change your vibration, you must change your inner state. The outer world rearranges itself to match the frequency you maintain most consistently. It does not matter what you say you want. It matters what you are inside when you think about it. The vibration of fear cannot produce safety. The vibration of lack cannot produce wealth. The vibration of loneliness cannot produce love. You must become the thing you seek in consciousness first, and then it will find you in form. When you enter the feeling of already having what you desire, you align yourself with the creative vibration of completion. That state has a specific frequency, and when you hold it long enough, it becomes your natural vibration. The world around you then reshapes itself automatically to reflect that new tone. This is the hidden meaning behind the ancient phrase that as you believe, so shall it be done unto you. Belief is not intellectual agreement. It is vibrational alignment. The second truth follows naturally from the first. Words are the shadow of vibration. They are symbols attempting to describe what feeling already knows. Words are useful tools for directing focus, but they do not possess power on their own. You can say the right thing and still emit the wrong vibration. You can recite sacred phrases and still feel unworthy. The creative act is not in what you say, but in what you vibrate while saying it. Feeling is the secret because feeling is vibration made conscious. When you feel something deeply, you are tuning your entire being to that frequency. The feeling of joy, gratitude, or love is not a reaction. It is a signal. It announces to the universe the state you have chosen to occupy. Words can point toward that feeling, but they cannot replace it. When you say I am happy but feel sorrow, the vibration of sorrow is what creates. When you say I am free but feel trapped, the vibration of bondage is what manifests. This is why many who practice affirmations grow frustrated. They repeat words that sound right but feel false. The subconscious mind does not accept what it does not feel to be true. It hears the vibration beneath the sentence, and that is the seed it plants. You cannot trick it with language. It reads your emotional frequency like a script. The only way to shift the subconscious is to embody the feeling of the desired state, until it becomes more natural than the old one. Think of your vibration as the atmosphere of your soul. Every word you speak travels through that atmosphere. If the air is heavy with doubt, your words will fall to the ground. If the air is light with faith, your words will soar. The feeling determines the altitude of your creation. When you understand this, you begin to cultivate inner weather deliberately. You choose thoughts that produce harmony instead of confusion. You hold imaginations that generate warmth instead of fear. You live by vibration, not by words. The reason feeling is superior to words is because feeling is the language of creation itself. Before the mind forms a sentence, the heart already knows. The first movement of awareness is always felt, not spoken. You feel the urge, the desire, the certainty, and only later do words appear. When you reverse this order, trying to use words to create feeling, you often fail. But when you begin with feeling, words follow naturally as its echo. Every great creation in your life begins when you dare to feel it real before any evidence exists. To feel it real is to vibrate as though it were already so. You are not pretending. You are aligning. You are stepping into the frequency where that reality already exists in consciousness. In that state, your emotions, thoughts, and energy harmonize. You become a tuning fork resonating with the experience you wish to draw. Words can describe this process, but they cannot perform it. The creative act is silent. It happens in the unseen chambers of the heart where imagination and feeling merge into one pulse. When you master the art of feeling, you no longer depend on constant verbal repetition. You may still speak your desire aloud, but your words are now alive with conviction. They carry the vibration of certainty, and that vibration is what the universe hears. You begin to realize that silence filled with feeling is far more powerful than speech filled with doubt. In that silence, you commune directly with the creative source of all things. You stop trying to convince and begin to embody. You stop speaking about what will be and start feeling what already is. That shift transforms you from a seeker into a creator. The words that follow are no longer requests but declarations of being. Every time you speak, you are broadcasting your vibration. People respond not to your words but to the energy behind them. The same is true of life itself. It is responding not to what you say you want, but to what you are vibrating now. That is why true change always begins within. When you change your vibration, your words automatically become true. You no longer need to force them. They express themselves naturally because they are born from harmony rather than effort. To live this way is to move from struggle to flow. You stop fighting to make things happen and begin allowing them to unfold. From the vibration you hold, you learn to trust feeling as your guide. If a thought feels heavy, it is out of harmony. If a thought feels light and peaceful, it aligns with truth. The universe does not listen to the noise of your words. It listens to the quiet hum of your inner state. Every moment of your life, you are radiating a vibration that tells the world exactly who you believe yourself to be. You may speak of health, wealth, or love, but if your vibration carries the tone of lack, struggle, or fear, that is what creation must reflect. The universe is a mirror of consciousness, and it has no choice but to reproduce what it receives. Words are powerless when they are out of tune with the vibration behind them. It is your inner frequency, your felt state of being, That becomes the language creation understands. To understand this is to discover the secret of effortless manifestation. Most people believe that words create reality because they are visible and audible. But words are only the outer garment of vibration. The invisible vibration is what truly shapes experience. You can speak abundance while vibrating poverty, or whisper in doubt while your vibration shouts belief. The outer sound is meaningless unless the inner tone agrees. Creation is vibration made visible. When your vibration and your desire are one, your words gain authority, not because of their form, but because they carry the resonance of truth. Imagine two people standing side by side, both saying the same words, I am free. One says it with desperation, hoping to escape the chains of circumstance. The other says it from the deep knowing that freedom already exists within. Though the words are identical, the vibrations are worlds apart, and so are the results. One remains trapped in longing. The other watches the world rearrange itself to match their certainty. The difference lies not in speech but in state. The universe responds to the one who already feels free, not to the one who is asking for it. Your vibration is your signature in the field of creation. It is the silent declaration of what you believe to be true. You can never hide your inner state because it is constantly broadcast through your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. When your vibration is rooted in fear or doubt, your experiences will mirror that fear and doubt. When your vibration is rooted in confidence and peace, life will echo those same qualities back to you. Every person, event, and situation that enters your life is drawn by the vibration you emit. You are never a victim of the outer world. You are the cause of it. To change what you receive, you must first change what you radiate. The law of vibration teaches that like attracts like, not through words but through resonance. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. This is why the key to transformation is not begging for a new reality, but embodying it internally. When you feel the vibration of your desire as already fulfilled, you send a new signal into the universe, and everything begins to rearrange itself accordingly. The process is invisible, but it is law. You do not need to use elaborate language to be heard by the universe. The moment you shift your inner state, the outer begins to change. You could say nothing at all and still create powerfully, because creation is not about verbal communication but vibrational alignment. The universe is constantly reading the vibration of your being. It hears the tone of your emotions, the rhythm of your thoughts, and the pulse of your imagination. It hears what you are, not what you say. This truth brings freedom because it releases you from the pressure to constantly speak the right words or say the right prayers. You no longer have to perform for creation. You simply have to align with it. When you rest in the feeling of your desire as real, you are speaking the only language the universe understands. You have already declared your truth through vibration, and life will respond accordingly. The state you occupy within is the magnet that draws your experiences. When you dwell in the vibration of gratitude, you attract more reasons to be grateful. When you live in the vibration of love, love meets you everywhere. The outer is the perfect reflection of the inner, and it cannot be otherwise. If the outer world displeases you, it is not there to punish but to reveal the vibration you are holding. Every event is feedback from the divine field showing you what frequency you are tuned to. Once you realize that the universe responds to your state, not your speech, you begin to live deliberately. You become aware of what you are feeling rather than what you are saying. You start choosing inner harmony over outer noise. You cultivate the feeling of your desired state until it becomes your natural vibration. And when that happens, your words, actions, and circumstances automatically align. You no longer need to force change. You embody it. This understanding leads directly to the next great principle. Assumption creates the vibration. Every vibration has a corresponding assumption, and every assumption carries a unique vibration. To assume the wish fulfilled is to vibrate as though the desire were already yours. Assumption is not daydreaming or hoping. It is the deliberate choice to inhabit a state of consciousness that feels complete. The moment you assume something is true, your vibration shifts to match that truth, and life begins to echo that new frequency. Assumption is the doorway through which imagination becomes reality. When you assume a state, you are not pretending. You are declaring that this is your new identity in consciousness. If you assume yourself to be successful, you are no longer vibrating as one who wishes for success. You are vibrating as one who already embodies it. The world then reorganizes itself to mirror that vibration. Circumstances, opportunities, and people appear in harmony with the assumption you have made. This is why assumption must come before evidence. Waiting for proof before assuming the state is like waiting for warmth before lighting the fire. Creation begins when you assume the vibration of the fulfilled desire and sustain it regardless of appearances. You do not need to force results because the vibration itself draws them. Every assumption plants a seed in the unseen. When nourished by persistent feeling, it grows into visible form. The act of assumption is the act of faith. Faith is not blind belief. It is the knowing that what you feel as real must materialize. Because consciousness is the only reality. The moment you assume a new identity, your vibration changes instantly. That new vibration becomes your prayer, your command, your creative word. You may still live among the same circumstances for a time, but within you, a shift has occurred. You have crossed the threshold into a new state, and that state will soon externalize. To assume is to wear the invisible garment of your desire. When you mentally and emotionally clothe yourself in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are setting your vibration to match the reality you seek. If you desire love, assume the feeling of being loved. If you desire wealth, assume the feeling of abundance. Do not wait for outer signs to justify the assumption. Let the assumption itself be the cause. The vibration produced by that feeling is the creative force that magnetizes your new experiences. Many people struggle with assumption because they confuse it with wishful thinking. They imagine briefly, but continue to vibrate with doubt and lack. True assumption is not fleeting. It is sustained awareness. You must dwell in the state until it feels natural, until you no longer question its reality. When the assumption becomes habitual, the vibration becomes constant, and creation cannot resist it. The universe must align with what you consistently vibrate. Assumption creates a vibration that transcends circumstance. You may look around and see evidence of the opposite, but if you hold your assumption firmly, the vibration will eventually reshape the outer picture. The old vibration must dissolve because it no longer matches your new state. This is why persistence is vital. Every time you return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you strengthen that vibration until it becomes your dominant one. The power of assumption lies in emotional conviction. You cannot assume mechanically. You must feel it. Feeling is the electricity that animates assumption. It is what turns thought into vibration. When you assume without emotion, you are merely thinking about your desire. When you assume with emotion, you are being it. That difference determines whether your vibration is alive or lifeless. Emotion is energy in motion, and it is this energy that creates. Every time you assume a new identity, you send a new vibration into the field of creation. If you hold that vibration steadily, everything that does not match it will begin to fade. Old habits, limiting beliefs, and circumstances may resist at first, but persistence dissolves them. You cannot dwell in a new vibration and keep the old world intact. One must yield to the other. The moment you persist in the new assumption, reality bends to your new frequency. Assumption also reveals the creative power of imagination. When you imagine vividly, you are tuning into the frequency of the desired state. Imagination is not fantasy. It is vibrational alignment in picture form. What you imagine with feeling becomes your dominant vibration, and what you vibrate consistently becomes your reality. Imagination allows you to experience the vibration of fulfillment before it appears in physical form. It is the inner rehearsal that sets the tone for manifestation. You do not need to force emotion or fight old thoughts. Simply return again and again to the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it becomes familiar. The mind accepts familiarity as truth. The more natural the assumption feels, the stronger the vibration becomes. Eventually, the assumption and you no longer act as though it were true. You live as though it cannot be otherwise. When you master this practice, you discover that life is not happening to you, but responding through you. Every outcome is the reflection of a vibration you have assumed and sustained. The law never fails. The world is a mirror of your inner tone. An assumption is the hand that tunes the instrument. If you wish to play a new melody in your life, assume the vibration of that melody, and the universe will join in harmony. Assumption is both art and science. The art lies in feeling the reality of your desire with imagination. The science lies in understanding that vibration must always reproduce itself. You do not need to beg for change or seek permission from circumstance. You have only to assume your chosen state and remain faithful to it. That assumption generates a vibration, and that vibration creates the world you see. This process becomes easier when you realize that every person already lives by assumption, whether consciously or not. You are always assuming something about yourself and about life, and those assumptions dictate your vibration. If you believe life is a struggle, your vibration reflects resistance, and struggle appears. If you believe life supports you, your vibration reflects ease, and support appears. By choosing your assumptions deliberately, you choose your vibration, and by choosing your vibration, you choose your destiny. In this understanding lies the secret to mastery. You no longer chase results or plead with circumstances to change. You withdraw attention from appearances and place it on the inner feeling of fulfillment. That feeling becomes your home vibration, and reality cannot help but mirror it. What once seemed impossible becomes natural, for you have assumed the vibration of completion. The world must obey the law of vibration, for the law is consciousness itself responding to its own reflection. Silence has always been the hidden power behind creation. Words may inspire, they may instruct, but silence is where all true transformation begins. In silence you meet yourself without disguise, without the noise of the world, without the constant chatter of the mind. It is there that your vibration finds its strength, because silence is not emptiness, it is fullness waiting to be felt. When you are silent, you do not stop creating, you create more powerfully, because you are working with vibration directly rather than through the limitation of words. Every master of consciousness has discovered this secret. The outer noise of the world fades, and in that stillness the vibration of faith, conviction, and imagination becomes alive. Words are tools. They are the servants of your vibration, not the masters of it. Many people use words as if the words themselves have power, but words only carry the energy that fuels them. A word spoken without feeling is like a seed without life. It cannot grow. But when a word rises from the depth of conviction, when it is charged with the vibration of inner knowing, it carries creative force. The difference between idle speech and true creation lies in silence. When your words come from silence, they are born from alignment. When they come from noise, they scatter without meaning. Silence allows you to feel before you speak. It lets you listen to the vibration of what you are about to express. In that quiet awareness, you can sense whether your feeling is in harmony with your desire or against it. Most people speak in reaction to life, spilling words from fear, frustration, or doubt. They speak to defend, to justify, to control, and in doing so they create more of the same. But the one who understands silence speaks only after the vibration is aligned. They speak from the state of fulfillment, not from the state of want. The power of their words comes not from volume, but from vibration. When you learn to move in silence, you stop trying to convince anyone, even yourself. You stop arguing with conditions. You begin to rest in quiet certainty. This stillness is not passivity. It is creative authority. It is the posture of one who knows that their inner vibration is already shaping reality. Silence becomes your sanctuary, a sacred space where feeling grows strong. From this center, your vibration becomes so stable that you no longer need to force results. Things begin to move toward you naturally. Every moment of silence strengthens the bridge between your imagination and the material world. When you sit quietly and feel the reality of your desire, you are speaking in the purest language the universe understands. The heart communicates through vibration, and silence amplifies that vibration. In silence, there are no contradictions, no mixed signals. There is only pure alignment. That alignment is what causes your outer world to respond with precision. To the untrained mind, silence feels uncomfortable because it exposes every hidden vibration. It shows you what you are truly feeling beneath the surface. This is why most people run from it. They fill their days with noise so they never have to face the vibration they are carrying. But those vibrations are already creating their experiences. When you dare to be silent, you bring those hidden frequencies into awareness. You can then shift them consciously, replacing fear with faith, doubt with confidence, lack with abundance. Silence is the workshop of transformation. It reveals what needs to be changed and empowers you to change it. As you deepen in silence, you begin to see that words are not the real cause of manifestation. They are the evidence of what you have already created within. The person who speaks with power does not rely on speech. Their power lies in their stillness. Every word they utter is backed by the vibration they have cultivated in silence. They could remain completely silent and still influence the world, because vibration needs no sound to travel. You have felt this in the presence of certain people. They enter a room and say nothing, yet their energy fills the space. That is the strength of silence. Silence is not the absence of creation. It is the field in which creation happens. When you stop speaking long enough to feel deeply, you begin to vibrate deliberately. The energy that once leaked through endless talking becomes concentrated and focused. You become magnetic. Your desires are no longer distant goals. They become the natural extension of your vibration. The more you trust silence, the faster your reality aligns. This brings us to the great companion of silence, imagination. Imagination is the tuning fork of vibration. It sets the tone for what you will attract and experience. Everything you imagine vividly and feel as true becomes a vibration in motion. The imagination is not a place of fantasy, but the creative core of existence. What you see inwardly with conviction eventually becomes what you see outwardly with your eyes. The universe itself was imagined into being, and the same law operates within you. When you imagine something with feeling, you are not pretending, you are vibrating. The act of imagination tunes your entire consciousness to the frequency of what you are picturing. For example, when you imagine yourself in perfect health, walking freely, breathing easily, feeling vitality in every cell, you are not daydreaming. You are sending out a vibration of wholeness. Your body and environment begin to reorganize themselves to match that frequency. The more real the image feels to you, the stronger the vibration becomes. Imagination is the artist of vibration. It paints the invisible pattern that the outer world must later fill in. Each image, each scene, each inner conversation you hold carries a tone. When that tone is consistent and filled with feeling, the universe must echo it. This is the meaning of creation through imagination. You are not trying to force matter to change. You are setting a vibration that compels matter to change on its own. Most people misuse imagination by picturing what they fear rather than what they desire. They rehearse failure, worry about loss, and expect disappointment. These images also produce vibrations, and those vibrations manifest as unwanted experiences. The imagination is impartial. It will create whatever vibration you feed it. To master imagination, you must learn to direct it consciously. Instead of dwelling on problems, dwell on fulfilled desires. See the end as already accomplished, and feel the satisfaction of it. That feeling is the new vibration that draws the matching reality. The beauty of imagination is that it allows you to step into any state instantly. You do not need to wait for outer permission to feel successful, loved, or peaceful. You can imagine it now, and by doing so you begin to vibrate as if it were already true. The more you return to that inner picture, the more your vibration stabilizes in that frequency. The outer world, bound by the law of correspondence, has no choice but to match it. Imagination also refines silence. When you combine silence with vivid inner imagery, you amplify your vibration. In silence, the images you create are not diluted by outer noise. They become sharp, alive, and potent. You can feel the reality with such depth that it moves through your entire being. The body responds as though it were truly happening. This physiological reaction is proof that imagination changes vibration immediately. What the mind imagines with belief, the body begins to live. To use imagination effectively, you must approach it with reverence, not as idle fantasy, but as sacred creation. Take time each day to enter a state of stillness. Let your mind settle into silence. Then begin to imagine yourself already living in the reality you desire. See it, hear it, touch it, and most importantly, feel it. Let the emotion of fulfillment fill every corner of your consciousness. When you open your eyes, carry that walk through the world as though your inner image were already fact, because in vibration, it is. Imagination does not only create personal experiences, it also shapes collective reality. Every great invention, discovery, or movement began as an image in someone's mind. Before it became tangible, it existed as vibration. The imagination of one person can shift the vibration of many, because vibration is contagious. When you hold a clear vision of peace, love, or progress, your vibration joins the universal field and influences it. The world changes when enough individuals imagine a higher reality and vibrate in harmony with it. You can test the power of imagination in small ways each day. Imagine a simple event with feeling, meeting a friend unexpectedly, hearing good news, or finding something you lost. Feel the joy or surprise of it as though it has already happened. Release it, and continue with your day. You will begin to notice that these imagined scenes start unfolding naturally. Each success strengthens your understanding that imagination is not wishful thinking, but a vibrational command. Imagination also teaches you the importance of purity and vibration. If your inner pictures are mixed with doubt or fear, the vibration becomes unclear. You may attract confusing results. But when your imagination is simple and steady, when you focus on one clear end with unwavering feeling, the vibration becomes pure, and the result arrives with precision. You must feel the end is true and refuse to contradict it with worry or disbelief. The relationship between silence and imagination is sacred. Silence gives imagination its stage, and imagination gives silence its voice. In silence, you withdraw from the noise of the senses and the opinions of the world. You enter the inner realm where imagination rules. There, you can build new realities without interference. The images you create in that stillness are charged with high vibration, because they are born in peace. When you return to outer activity, those vibrations continue to radiate, drawing conditions that match your inner creation. As you practice this, you begin to see that creation is effortless when vibration is right. You do not need to chase or struggle. You simply maintain the vibration that matches your desire. Silence keeps you aligned, and imagination fine-tunes the signal. Together, they form the perfect partnership for manifestation. Silence grounds the vibration. Imagination shapes it. The two cannot be separated if you wish to create consciously. Over time, you start to trust this process completely. You no longer seek validation from the outer world, because you understand that everything begins within. You become the quiet artist of vibration, sculpting your world through feeling and imagery. When others rely on words, you rely on silence. When others beg for change, you imagine it and feel it done. Your vibration becomes steady, and life responds with harmony. There is no greater strength than the strength that rises from inner stillness. No word can equal the creative power of a deeply felt image held in silence. In that space, you are one with the source of all vibration, and through imagination, you give it direction. The world outside is only the reflection of that inner movement. Every change you seek must first occur in the silence of your heart, and in the vision of your imagination. When you understand this, you hold the key to creation itself. It is not the number of times you repeat a phrase that brings creation to life, but the depth of feeling that sustains it. The universe does not count your words. It measures your vibration. Many people exhaust themselves with endless affirmations, thinking repetition alone will force reality to change. But creation does not respond to repetition. It responds to conviction. One moment of pure, unwavering belief carries more creative power than 1,000 words spoken without faith. It is the persistence of feeling, not the persistence of speech, that moves the unseen forces of life. Every state of being must be maintained long enough for it to solidify into form. The law of vibration requires consistency. If you hold the vibration of your wish fulfilled for a few seconds and then fall back into doubt, you cancel your creative signal. You cannot serve two masters, belief and disbelief. The vibration of your world must match the vibration of your dominant feeling. To persist in feeling means to live inwardly as if your desire were already true, even when nothing around you suggests it. It is holding that inner certainty long enough for the invisible to crystallize into the visible. Persistence is not effort. It is not struggle or tension. It is quiet knowing, a calm assurance that your inner world is the only cause of the outer. When you persist in the feeling of fulfillment, you are teaching your subconscious mind a new truth. At first, the old vibration may resist, for it has been your companion for years. Doubt may whisper that nothing is changing. Appearances may contradict your inner vision. But if you remain loyal to the feeling, if you continue to return to it day after day, your vibration will eventually become natural. The moment it becomes natural, the world begins to shift effortlessly. This is the reason why persistence must be emotional, not mechanical. The mind can repeat words endlessly, but without emotion, the repetition is lifeless. Feeling gives breath to the spoken word, and persistence keeps that breath alive. To persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to occupy the vibration of your desire so completely that it becomes second nature. You no longer need to remind yourself to believe, because belief has become your normal state of being. The outer world then mirrors this new identity with precision. Think of persistence as holding a musical note. If you strike a single tone on a violin and let it fade instantly, the air barely responds. But if you sustain that note steadily, the entire room begins to vibrate with it. The walls, the floor, even the silence itself begins to hum in harmony. That is how vibration works. The longer you sustain a feeling, the more it impresses itself upon reality. The moment you let doubt interrupt it, the tone weakens. To persist in feeling is to keep that note alive, until your world begins to resonate with it completely. Persistence requires trust in the unseen. You may not see immediate proof of your inner work, but creation is already in motion. Every moment you persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, unseen currents are aligning, rearranging, and moving into place. The results often come suddenly because they have been gathering silently, while you remained faithful. The person who gives up too soon never realizes how close they were to manifestation. They confuse silence with stagnation, forgetting that vibration builds power in stillness before it breaks into form. The mind often demands visible confirmation before it believes, but the heart understands that feeling itself is proof. When you can feel something so real within that the absence of outer evidence no longer matters, you have reached the creative threshold. At that point, manifestation is inevitable. You do not need to push or plead. You simply maintain the inner tone. The outer world cannot resist a vibration that has been sustained with unwavering faith. To persist in feeling also means to ignore appearances. The senses will always reflect your past vibration, not your present one. What you see around you today is the residue of yesterday's belief. If you judge by appearances, you are measuring the harvest of an old vibration, not the seed of a new one. The wise creator understands this and does not react to temporary conditions. They hold the new feeling in place until the old picture fades and the new one takes form. Persistence transforms imagination into substance. Each time you return to the feeling of fulfillment, you are watering the seed of creation. The roots deepen beneath the surface where no eye can see. You do not dig up the seed to check its progress. You trust the law of growth. In the same way, you must trust the law of vibration. If you persist, the unseen must become seen. The invisible vibration you nurture within will eventually solidify into the reality you desire. The secret to persistence lies in love. When you love your vision, you naturally remain loyal to it. Love makes it effortless to persist. You do not need discipline to hold the feeling of something you adore. Love fills you with joy, and joy sustains the vibration easily. That is why the feeling of the wish fulfilled must be pleasant, not forced. If it feels like strain, you are not in alignment. The true feeling of fulfillment is peaceful and alive at the same time. It feels complete. From persistence flows the final truth. To create consciously, you must be the vibration you seek. You cannot stand outside of your desire hoping it will come to you. You must become it inwardly. Every desire is calling you to embody its vibration. If you wish for love, you must radiate love. If you wish for success, you must vibrate success. The world is your mirror, and it cannot reflect what you are not. This is not about pretending or acting as if. It is about being. When you embody a state completely, life conforms to that state without effort. Being the vibration you seek means releasing the idea of wanting altogether. Wanting implies separation. To want something is to declare that you do not yet have it, and that vibration of lack keeps it away. The moment you shift from wanting to being, the vibration changes entirely. You are no longer sending out a signal of absence but of presence. You become the embodiment of your fulfilled desire, and everything that matches that frequency must find you. The world responds faithfully to who you are being, not to what you are saying. If you desire abundance, but live with the vibration of fear, scarcity will follow you. If you desire love but dwell in resentment, loneliness will continue. The law of vibration has no bias. It simply matches like with like. To be the vibration you seek is to take full responsibility for your inner state. You stop blaming conditions and start mastering consciousness. Every outer change begins with an inner shift. Being is effortless when you understand that your vibration is your identity. You are not a person trying to become something. You are consciousness expressing different states. You can change your state at any moment by changing your vibration. The process is simple but profound. Ask yourself, what does it feel like to already be the one I wish to be? Then dwell in that feeling until it becomes natural. That feeling is the new vibration, and the new vibration is the new self. When you live as the vibration of your fulfilled desire, you cease to look for signs or results. You know that the outer world must mirror the inner one. You walk with calm confidence because your being itself is the cause of your experiences. You no longer ask when it will happen, because in vibration, it already has. This is the state of creation rather than the state of seeking. The Creator does not chase outcomes. They radiate them. To be the vibration you seek is to live from the inside out. You begin each day by tuning into the feeling of your chosen state. You carry that vibration into every action, every conversation, every thought. You do not wait for circumstances to give you permission to feel good. You generate the feeling first. The vibration becomes your anchor. Over time, it becomes impossible to separate the feeling from the person you are. You have merged with your desire so completely that it expresses through you naturally. This state of being is not fantasy. It is the most practical way to live. When you are the vibration of peace, you make clear decisions. When you are the vibration of abundance, you see opportunities others overlook. When you are the vibration of love, you draw harmony into every relationship. Life begins to organize itself around your inner frequency. The outer world is not random. It is responsive. Every situation that meets you is there because it resonates with what you are being. Becoming the vibration you seek also means releasing attachment to outcomes. Attachment belongs to the vibration of fear and insecurity. When you truly embody your desire, you do not cling to it because you already are it. There is nothing to chase or lose. This detachment does not mean indifference. It means faith. You trust the law completely. You know that what you are vibrating must be expressed in form, and so you rest in that knowing. This rest is the final stage of creation, where effort dissolves into being. You may notice that as you embody the vibration of your desire, people and circumstances begin to shift without explanation. Relationships transform, opportunities appear, and obstacles vanish. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of your new state. The old vibration cannot exist where the new one dominates. You are not changing the world directly. You are changing the vibration through which the world appears to you. Every feeling you sustain becomes your reality. When you persist in a vibration long enough, it becomes identity. Identity is destiny. You are always being something, and what you are being is what you are creating. The choice is always yours. You can persist in the vibration of lack and continue to experience lack, or you can persist in the vibration of fulfillment and experience abundance. The law never changes. Only your use of it does. To be the vibration you seek requires awareness. You must become sensitive to the frequency of your emotions. Every emotion tells you whether you are in alignment or resistance. When you feel joy, love, and peace, you are in harmony with your desired state. When you feel fear, doubt, or frustration, you are out of tune. Instead of judging those emotions, use them as guidance. Gently return to the feeling of fulfillment. With practice, you will learn to maintain that vibration effortlessly. No matter what happens around you, there comes a moment when you realize that you no longer need to attract anything. You are no longer a magnet reaching for experiences. You are the source from which they rise. When you live in the vibration of your fulfilled desire, life becomes a continuous expression of that state. Creation becomes natural, not because you are doing more, but because you are being more. The vibration that once felt like a practice becomes your permanent atmosphere. Everything you once sought begins to seek you, for it recognizes its own vibration in you.